you're saying that the majority, if not all, of the top successful black people, or even entertainers, people who are in positions of power, they've all been approached with certain.
Took an oath. You're oathed.
Oathed.
You're oathed.
What do you think that
if you're a billionaire, you are oathed.
How do you even see them coming to you with that opportunity? Do they just come and say, "Hey, look, we want you to push these messages and do everything we can, but before we do this, we need you to."
I'm gonna give you an African comparison, but this is righteous. You ever heard of the Mau Mau?
I've heard the name. Don't know.
Mau Mau was the nickname that was given to. Actually, I think the name was given to him by the British, but it was called the Kenyan Land and Freedom Army. This is in Kenya, East Africa. The Kikuyu Kingdom, the people, they rose up to fight against British colonization. They wanted to throw them the F out of Kenya, right? Guess how they recruited their soldiers? Now, mind you, they had to operate clandestine. They lived in the woods because, remember, they had to evade the British authorities, right? They catch you, they kill you. So guess how they recruited? I will bring you, let's say I'm one of the Mau Mau recruiters. I bring you to a meeting. You don't know where you're going. I want you to come to this meeting. Come check this out. We doing something good for the community, which they were, because they ended the colonization. You come to the meeting. This is the Kenyan Land and Freedom Army. We are committed to the liberation and independence of Kenya. We're going to kill every Caucasian we can find. Do you want to join? No, I don't really think this is for me. Okay. You've seen all of our faces. You know who we are. You know where we are. We're going to ask you this question one more time. Do you want to join? You see how this goes? If you say no, you don't leave here alive. And then they say, who of you new recruits, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, but who of you new recruits are willing to die for the revolution, for the freedom of Kenya? Raise your hand. Everybody hand go up. Put your hands down. How many of you are willing to kill for the freedom of Kenya? Only a few hands went up. So guess what? Every hand that said is willing to kill, they get a knife and a gun. Kill the one whose hand didn't go up. Because we can't afford no sellouts in this mission. You see how that went? That's how they get you in the Illuminati. When they make the offer, you're already in too deep. You don't get the offer until they know you can't walk out the door. You see how this goes? They don't step to you until they know you can't walk out the door. It's an offer you can't refuse, just like the mob.
Andrew Tate on his emergency meeting podcast, he actually said that he was approached. I don't know how he was approached. I don't know if he went into details, but he said he was approached and he was offered $50 million to sell his soul, was his words.
I can see it.
And I can see it too. He's one of the most influential people in the world. So, he declined, obviously, but it just speaks to the type of situations that people find themselves in once they get to a certain level,
I was approached by the Masons. Several times, but I've never been approached by them yet. But for me being who I am, they would probably send the Masons first to see if I bite.
They would send the Black Masons.
Right, and that's who came. Okay. They would send the Black Masons to see if I bite, and then they would go into a deeper level. The reason why they would approach somebody like an Andrew Tate, the reason why they would approach a Dr. Umar is because in order to maintain the power structure, you need the influencers. You need the masters of mind control, for lack of a better word. I'm not a mind controller, right? I'm a freedom fighter, but my influence is so great that if we had him on the team, you see, all the people who follow them are automatically neutralized. One thing we don't study enough in the Black community is the role of controlled opposition. In order to understand white domination of African people, you must understand controlled opposition. What did J. Edgar Hoover say? He said, after we destroy the Panthers, there will never be a black messiah unless what? We make them. There will never be another black messiah unless we make them. Do you know what he's saying? If black people are ever going to believe in another prominent leader, they will be an employee of the government. You see how Al Sharpton, all the money he makes, they own him. Jesse Jackson, all the money he gets, they own him. They might have started out real, but see, here's the thing about revolution. If you love anything more than the freedom of the people, you will sell out. A lot of these sellouts didn't think they would sell out. When Jesse Jackson was 25, he never thought he would compromise himself. When Al Sharpton was 20 out there in Harlem, big fat Al fighting he never thought he would sell out. It's not until you put in a position where you can. You see? And that's why you got to know who you are. You got to know I'm not going to compromise who I am no matter what comes. Because if there's a weakness in you, he will sniff it. Whether that's your children, whether that's your job, your money, your women, your freedom. You follow me? He finds the chink. What is the chink? Because, white folks have a saying about us. Every Negro got a price. You just got to find it. They don't believe we have any integrity. The white power structure, they don't believe there's a black activist in America who can't be bought. They don't believe it. They believe the last one was the ones they killed, and that would have been George Jackson would have been the last. If you come more modern, Michael Jackson, Prince, Johnny Cochran, Geronimo Pratt, them types. But we have to study controlled opposition because a lot of our black leaders, spokespersons, pastors, preachers, politicians, here and in Africa, they're controlled opposition. Mm-hmm. They want you to talk that black talk because you got to get the people. Once you got them, we start paying you to keep them. Mm. That's why I don't belong to nothing. When I was in college, I was going to be on Omega Psi Phi. The paperwork got mixed up, so I never joined. I'm not going to join now. You want to know why? Because when I come before, and I respect all the fraternities and sororities, nothing but love for them, but I would never join now. Why? Because when I come before my people, they got to know Dr. Umar belonged to nothing else. So you feel me? Because they ask me all the time, are you Mason? You got to be a Mason. You got them degrees and you go around here talking. What are you? Mason, Elk, Shriner? What's your secret? I belong to nothing at all. Literally nothing at all but Pan-Africanism and black liberation.
Mm-hmm. So this is truly, man, just based on what you said, it's like this is a battle between
it's a battle, and it's a chess match.
It's a spiritual battle.
It's a spiritual battle. And that's why you got to stay spiritually grounded, brother.
Right.
What was I doing last night? I'm a Leo, right? Yesterday, 12:54 p.m., we had a full wolf moon in Leo. So you know what I was doing last night? I was at my shrine, worshiping the Most High God, communicating with my ancestors to keep me grounded. Because this thing's always pulling. You feel people always pulling. You got the women, they want to pull. They're going to send them as traps. You understand? So you got to stay spiritually grounded, in my opinion.
No, you do.
There's no way you can be a true freedom fighter for African people and not be spiritually grounded. And even if you're Muslim, you spiritually grounded in that. You Christian, but you better be grounded. If you're superficial, they're going to get you. Mm-hmm. If you don't stay focused, they're going to get you. Because Satan don't want you to win anyway.
Right.
I had a divination done. So in traditional African spirituality, we get divinations from the priests to help us see, whether we're walking our path or not. And you know what the Babalawo told me? He said, you're not just fighting the racists who walk the earth, white people and their reactionary Negro flunkies. You have white ancestors who don't want to see you succeed. He said, you're not just fighting the flesh. Their ancestors, you see that, are fighting you too. So with this, it's not just a battle with the flesh, it's a battle with the spirit. Like you said, you got to be spiritually grounded. Have to be.
Do you believe God is on your side?
Yes, I do. As long as I stay on God's side. Because at the end of the day, this is a battle between good and evil. We're not fighting for black supremacy. We're fighting for justice. And the reason we're fighting for justice is we, as the first people on earth, I believe, are the most just. And I believe that God put us on earth in charge for a reason. And we forfeited that honor. And we got to get it back. And the reason why we're going through so much hell is we have forgot who we were. And forgetting who we were is not just forgetting you African, but forgetting that you're God's chosen people.